Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, and we are going to be looking at the second most important decision you have to make when incorporating your entity in China. This week, we're looking at the China Incorporation Blueprint, which are the 9 key decisions you have to make prior to actually setting up that structure in China. Yesterday, we were looking at the first key decision, which was all about the types of entities that exist, what type of entity is going to suit your business needs, and then ultimately an action takeaway, which is formulating your business scope. What are the actual activities you're going to be doing in the market? What are the products? What are the services? Today, the second most important decision that you have to make is surrounding the financial investment capital that you're going to make to sustain your business until it generates enough revenue to support the business. And together with that, we're going to look at the term of validity because the two come hand in hand. One of the first two questions I ask my clients when I meet them for the first time is, what are your financial capabilities going into the market? How much capital do you have to invest? And the second is, how much time resources do you have? Because you can't push the China project forward if you don't have someone dedicating themselves to that project. So today, let's look a little bit at the investment capital. There are 2 important numbers you need to know. One is the registered capital and one is the total investment. The registered capital is the actual amount that's going to go into your bank account to pay off expenses, whether it's salaries, rent, suppliers, third-party professionals, whatever costs you might have. You're going to use that money to pay it off because you don't have revenue yet. You're not transacting yet. So how much of that do you need before you are going to start transacting and you can have revenue come in to sustain the company and you can sustain then your costs, right? So you got to analyze and do a budget to see how much you actually need in order to push your project forward, okay? Is that 50,000 RMB before you start generating revenue? Is it 1 million RMB before you start generating revenue? You've got to make that cost calculation. Total investment is the total amount you need for the entire China project. It's based on a ratio. So ultimately, if you've got the registered capital amount figured out, it's a ratio calculation to figure out then what the total investment is going to be. The difference between the registered capital and the total investment is what in China we call your foreign debt loan. It's a way of getting emergency funds into the market and being able to use those funds in case you run out of registered capital and out of money. Now, one of the biggest questions I get is, I don't have all that cash. I mean, we need maybe like 1 million RMB, but I don't have that cash sitting in the bank account. When does that actually have to go into the account once the company is set up? Well, that's where the term of validity comes into play, because your registered capital only has to be injected based on the term of validity that you have chosen. And the minimum is 10 years, meaning that your company will be set up for 10 years, or the maximum is 50 years. And you can choose any number in between. But basically, if you decide that you need 100,000 RMB to invest, and you choose 10 years as your term of validity, then you have 10 years to put in that 100,000. If you choose 1 million, it's 1 million in 10 years. So you can space out the injection of that capital over the years that you need that money. Not so complicated, but very critical, because one of the biggest issues that we see amongst startups in China, and when I say startups, everybody who opens a business in China is a startup, ultimately, regardless of what's supporting it in the background. But when you are a startup, you tend to use your money relatively quickly. So you've got to do a projected or forecasted cash flow statement to know how you're using your money. How are you going to be using it month to month so you can analyze, right, how much you will actually need to invest. Make sure you do that budget so you know where your resources are going, understand your time resources, and be assured that not all the money has to come in at once. It can come in installments over the term of validity. I hope this video has helped. Take a look at our 7 upcoming videos at the other 7 key decisions that have to be made prior to your incorporation. Have a fantastic day. Take care and goodbye.